All right, as promised, here come the continuous functions. Yay! All right, again, we have definitions to the left. Then we got graphic representation to the right. Bottom left, we're going to write these in inequality form. And what are they used for? So let's get started. Definition. Well, basically, it's points that are connected. Points are connected. And what else can we say? Can be infinite. Which means that it goes on and on forever. Or it can be broken down or stop in a certain interval. So that means that maybe you got a point here and then it goes ding, 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 boom. And then you got another one up there. So that would be an interval. So it doesn't go on forever. Now let's go to the graph. This is kind of similar to what we had yesterday. It talks about the average temperature in the months. And the reason this is not discrete is because you can't count it. You can't say, okay, January, I've got 78 degrees. February, I got 79, 80. So it is not a countable thing because it varies from year to year. And it's connected. Do you see that? So make sure you remember it's connected. Yay, let's put a little smiley there because you know how much I like those. And that's about it. So that's the graph. Now this is the fun part. How do we write them? So let's go take this first one. Now the point that's over here is -5. So -5 is over here, right there, -5. And over here we are at 5 because I can't see, I'm old, remember? And then up here we are at 2. And let's see what's the lowest point. Alrighty then, and that's -2. So remember my little trick yesterday. I just take my pen or pencil, whatever I have, and I start na for the domain. I go on the left side, I go na, stop! Okay, so here's my first one, at -5. So my domain, remember we put the X in the middle, it's gonna have this stuff, and on the left-hand side, we're gonna put the beginning point. So this one was -5. We don't know if it's open or closed. We'll look at that in a minute. So then we keep going. Yeah, we have a little up and down and blah, blah, blah. But it hasn't ended. And then it goes, stop! There you go. Here's the ending. And that is at 5. So that's your right-hand side. Now for the range, you go from the bottom up because you want to go up the y-axis from the lowest to the highest, and it starts at negative and goes positive. So you go stop! All right, we were here at -2. So that's our left-hand side. We have the same deal, but remember the range is your y values. And we got this still going on too. Now we got to find where does it end. So we go stop! And that's at +2. So that's what you write here. Now, for the domain, it starts at an open circle. So open means that we're just going to go like this. So we have that already. So we're done. Now, the last point is closed. So we're going to have to put the equal underneath. So right here goes a little equal. And then for the range, now this is a little bit different. Look at on the left, at -2, you got an open circle. On the right, you have a closed circle. So which one do you think it might be? Okay, since the video needs to be a little short, I'm going to tell you the answer. The closed circle always trumps the open because you actually have more closed points than you have open. So you're going to put the little line there. Bah, you open circle. Okay, now we go up to here. Well, this technically is a point right here on this graph. And it is at +2. And it's going to hit +2. So it's a closed circle, so you're going to put the line underneath. So that is your first way to write this. And that's called inequality form. We're going to look at others, but right now we're just doing inequality. Now look at this weird guy. How am I going to do my domain and how am I going to do my range? All right, let's just set it up because this is weirding me out again. God knows that I don't like that, but hey, whatever. Alrighty. So when I go from the left to the right, which is my X and Y x-axis, and then up and down here is my Y. I should have labeled that on the other one, but I forgot. So when I go to from the left to the right, I encounter this arrow. Anytime you have an arrow, that's going to be infinity. So you write it like this. And in this case, it's going to be -infinity. So that's where we start at. And since infinity never stops, you don't put a little line. Now when you go all the way to the right, look at, we got another arrow. So arrow means what? Infinity. But now we're going to the positive side. So this one was a negative and this one was positive. So positive infinity. You don't really have to write positive, but for the sake of this, I'm writing it. Now with the range, you do the same thing. So you go from the bottom up. Notice you encounter that arrow. Anytime you encounter that arrow, that means you're going to do infinity. Well, this one is negative, and I ran out of room. That's bad, mama. Bad, bad, bad. Now, when we go up, notice we're also going to get that arrow again. So now what do? Well, arrow, positive infinity. So this one goes on and on forever. You don't put the line because infinity, it never ends. So those are two examples of how it's going to look. Now the last thing we're going to do is look at the applications. And one of the things that I thought about, and which is going to be on your exit ticket today, is a plane flight. So a plane flight would be continuous. It has a start and a stop, but you don't stop in between. You keep going until you reach your destination. Okay, unless something bad happens, but God forbid that happens. So the next thing, let's see, we talked about the distance from the Earth to the moon. Earth to moon. And you could use any other planet if you wanted to. I always like Uranus, just because